Hello and welcome to Magala Foresight. This is Mikhail Munase, producer and host of the show. With me today is Dr. Christian Leuner. He's a German interventional cardiologist. He has been teaching cardiology in Ayder University Hospital since 2013. He's a chairman of German Ethiopia Witten, an NGO with the primary objective of supporting Ethiopia's healthcare services. And the NGO has been supporting education in Ethiopia, constructing schools in rural areas. Dr. Christian Leuner, welcome to Magana Foresight.
Thank you having me with you. It's a pleasure to answer your questions. And also I'm happy for the audience. I hope that will be with us.
Thank you. Let's start with what you do. What does interventional cardiologist mean for our, for those who don't know what it means?
Yes, I'm a physician. Had become cardiologist and had experienced this for more than 30 years. And an interventional cardiologist is a physician who is active in a special place in the hospital with a big X-ray system there, so-called heart catheterization laboratory. This means there you are performing treatment for patients with heart diseases, with narrowed or blocked coronary vessels, in case of heart attack, for example, or many other procedures you can do there without opening the chest. It's just done by heart catheterization technique with little tubes. You are pushing in the arteries, and then you have the instruments on top of these tubes to treat the diseased parts of the heart. And my connection, this is connected to Ayder Hospital, but maybe we talk a bit later about this in detail.
Okay, yeah. So apart from teaching, you've been, doing these interventional cardiology services in Tigray, I believe. What is the extent of the problem in Tigray, and how were you trying to support professionally?
Yes, we started in 2013. I arrived there first time in Ayder Hospital, and I was asked to teach their echocardiography, that is ultrasound of the heart. They had there some internists that had introduced to this technology and had a machine to do so. And they had intention to set up a cardiology unit in Ayder Hospital. And maybe I say some words about Ayder Hospital itself. It's a very unique place from my experience. It is a big university hospital. It is quite new, equipped with medical items. And the doctors are young doctors, very energetic, very well educated, and very interested in new technologies. So it was a pleasure for me to be there and to start to work with them. And one day they told me, "Oh, listen, Christian, we have bought this money from our government, a heart catheterization laboratory, but we are not experienced in this, how to set it up. Could you support this?" And so I did. And we, together with really dedicated staff from Ayder Hospital, we made it possible to set up this heart catheterization laboratory, rooms, X-ray machine, everything what you need there in place. And it was the first modern and new heart catheterization laboratory in the country, and installed by an Ethiopian engineering company. So it was really very from interesting experience. And at the end, we were able to teach there the way how to treat patients with in a heart catheterization laboratory by interventional cardiology. And the physicians, the internists in Ayder, then step by step, they had been educated in cardiology, in interventional cardiology abroad. When they came back, they were able to perform themselves these interventions, even without support from foreigners. And that was at the end in 2020, 2021. We have reached this level of education, and we had the chance to bring other cardiologists from Germany, or they came from Italy, there, the United States, really to perform advanced interventional cardiology in this cath lab, we call it, in Ayder Hospital. So it was really a great success there. And we had the idea there to do scientific programs. We already have written together scientific papers on this. So we're very happy in 2020 how we performed there. But then the situation became difficult. We had COVID. We could not go there because of this infection, because all these problems that are evolving had been involved in there, and then the war started.
So how did the war affect all these wonderful things that they have been doing? The installation of the cath lab at Ayder Hospital, and the fact that the physicians there were performing it even with the support of foreigners is a very great advance. So how did the war affect this?
Yeah, maybe some words about Ayder Hospital additional. We had also other physicians from other specialties there. German ones, they have done in gastroenterology and intensive care unit, and in EOR, special technology and workshops, had been also there. It was really a big program we had there. Okay, war. Very awful situation, because we had the problem that the siege, the complete siege, made it extremely difficult to communicate. We did not know what was going on. We had a situation that we heard awful news about the looting and destroying of the health facilities all over Tigray. We had the problem that we could not really reach our friends there and ask them, are you still alive or not? Then step by step, when after half a year, when the situation changed a little bit, when the troops of the soldiers from the federal government left Tigray, some contacts had been there. And then we found out that Ayder Hospital was not looted. It was a big story because it happened that the hospital had been attacked by soldiers from outside of Ethiopia, and the muezzin, the Muslim priest, had called from the mosque there, defend Ayder Hospital. And the people from the area around Ayder Hospital came. They saw stones on the road. They made obstacles for the soldiers to go to Ayder, and the soldiers shot at them, and some 7 people were killed and some 20 more were wounded, but nevertheless they succeeded, and Ayder was the only big hospital in Tigray that was not looted, that was not destroyed.
You said soldiers outside Ethiopia. Who are these soldiers?
From the northern part, from the country in the north.
I see. Eritrea, you're referring to.
Yes, they told me. I've not been there. They told me. Yes.
Yeah. So now, after the peace agreement signed in Pretoria,
Yeah.
how is the situation there for Ayder Hospital?
I was so happy when this treaty had been signed. That's the idea. Now the central government and will allow them really to be again part of the country. That means all the roads are open, the air traffic comes, the telecommunication comes, the salary of the staff will come, and all this, and all the humanitarian aid agencies are allowed to enter Tigray to bring support. But this didn't happen. I couldn't understand why this is, but we didn't have a good feeling for this. As foreigners, we don't understand really what's going on there, but the feeling is somehow there are very wicked people around who are not supporting this peace process properly.
So you tweeted recently that, and you called for Ethiopia and Eritrea to stop impeding medical and humanitarian support for Tigray. Please explain.
Yeah. Yes. That's what my information tells me, and they tell me we are not allowed to receive money. We are not allowed from foreign countries in Ayder to buy food for our staff, to buy medical items in the local market. We are not allowed to do so. We're not allowed to tell the public about our still persisting obstacles to reconstruct our services in hospital. For example, they're not allowed to send us pictures or videos for this. And there are a lot of problems now, and it makes me very sad. And yeah, we don't know what to do, but only I can raise my voice and send these messages to German politicians, journals, to the European Union. But it's difficult, and nobody's really ready to listen because everybody is now looking for the Ukraine war, for the disaster in Turkey and in Syria with this earthquake. So Tigray is a little bit not on the international agenda now.
You know, countries like the US were guarantors of the peace agreement in Pretoria, and the AU it's supposed to be, monitoring this and, helping in the implementation of the peace agreement. It seems that the blockade has continued in many forms, and the supply of medical services, supplies and medical services in health services in Tigray is in a huge predicament. What needs to be done? What should the world do? The international community to help ease the suffering of the people of Tigray.
I'm not a politician, I'm a doctor, so it's difficult for me to give a reasonable answer to this because it depends on the government and the people in Ethiopia to solve this problem. As a foreigner, we can't go there and hit them and say, you bad boys, you have to fulfill what we are asking you to do. This is not the way that is possible. That's why it depends on Ethiopian culture, on Ethiopian attitudes towards humanity, And my experience is that there is not so much. They're not experienced in compromising people. They are. They know how to compromise with religion. They can live easily together. The Christians and the Muslims and the Jews have lived for hundreds of years there together without fighting, But suddenly this stops and they lost the capacity to compromise and to live peaceful together. And this we can't heal from abroad, from outside. This is a message for me to everybody in the country. Just talk for a humanitarian and solution and to look to compromise.
Yeah, you also tweeted state hospital without state budget for more than 2 years.
Yes,
However, Tigrayans abroad are determined to save their brothers and sisters. I think you are referring to also Dr. Kabram Gabasilase, the director of Ayder Hospital, uh, uh, made it known that the Tigrayans in the diaspora helped raise money, 5 million per, through the TDR fund, you know, and that was the Giving Tuesday fundraising event that gave rise to this huge amount for Ayder Hospital. So, how does your association, German Witten, German Ethiopia Witten, support the activities of the Tigrayans in the diaspora to help, alleviate the suffering of the people of Tigray?
Prohibited has its own program to support Ayder. We don't really, we're not happy to make it too public. And it's quite a lot of money we have donated in the time when the food was very rare, and we have found solution to bring it there. But I don't want really to make it too public about this. But it's a substantial support we are giving to our friends Kibrom and Ray and Musi and Dr. Manuel, all of them. And we are personal friends with them, and so we do our very best. And I think that is a step to help. But more important is really to find a way to stop this still lasting siege. That's more important.
The news coming out of Tigray, regarding the humanitarian situation is still very bad. IDPs from Europe, for instance, a district in northeastern Tigray, are being sheltered in the town of Adigrat after fleeing the Eritrean atrocities in their area, are in extremely bad situation. They are suffering due to the shortage of food and non-food items. Sometimes, without food from 3 to 10 days is very hard to describe even. So, looking at the situation and the peace agreement now at hand, are you optimistic that this blockade will end and that things will get to normal?
Difficult question for a foreigner, but what I'm hearing there is, for my friends, we are in Ethiopia. Written is it has several doctors as members, and one of the chairmen is one Ethiopian citizen and had been born in Ethiopia, but is now nearly 50 years in Germany and a physician. And he gives me some information that I normally can't get because I don't speak Tigrinya, can't read it. But he tells me that the situation is not becoming less dangerous now. More not so positive situations are evolving there, and maybe some fighting, he told me. So I hope the international community will find possibility really to put more pressure on all the different stakeholders there, on the central government, on the Eritreans and the Amharic people, to really to push them to stop this fighting, this sieges, and all this. But at the moment, I'm not very confident that this will stop soon. I'm sorry for this, but this is what I've learned, what very well-informed people told me.
So finally, any message to your colleagues in Magala University, Ayder Hospital? Any final thoughts before we end?
We will stay with them. We will do whatever is possible to support them. We will give them more funding as much as possible, and we will continue to raise our voices to the public, to the international public, to the politicians, that this is an awful situation. It should be stopped because it's not the fault of the Ukrainians that this happened, but they suffer from this. And the reasons are not very honorable why all the situation happened like this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Christian Leuner.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your time, for all the effort that you are giving.
Yeah, thank you and welcome.
Well, we have come to the end of the interview. Thanks for watching. Thank you.